audience. Hey everybody, welcome to Time for Dinner with Nanny Bubby. We're making creamy leek and parsnip soup, and today finally I was able to connect with Instagram. It didn't boot me off. So yeah, so good to see you. We've got people over here on Instagram and people over here on Facebook. I'm going to try to do a two-camera show and help everybody learn. But before I do, I just want to remind you of one thing. Hang in there. Hey Lucy! Just reminding you of one thing. So on Sunday, we are doing Seed Starting Sunday. Can you see that over here on Instagram as well? And so we're going to be making, planting, thank you, we're planting drinking, and I'm a mess here. Okay, let's start over and slow down. I was so excited Instagram was here that I lost myself for a minute. We are planting green zucchini, yellow summer squash, and arugula. And here's the reasons why. So you can find all these items except the seeds. You can find all the items except the seeds on the nannybubby.com webpage, the one that is Game Changers, okay? So on the Game Changer page, you can order on Amazon and Home Depot. The only problem is at this late date, your grow light might not make it. Hey Doug, Aisha, so good to see you. You've been gone for a while, so happy you're back. So, Seed Starting Sunday at 3 o'clock, so everybody's been requesting that, so please join me for that. So let's get into the soup today. I'm so excited that we're making this soup, so I'm gonna turn this on, and I'm gonna talk just a little bit first about the leeks. So I buy my leeks at Whole Foods, but I'm gonna tell you honestly, I prefer the leeks at Trader Joe's. And the reason that I do is that it seems to me that those leeks are grown hydroponically, which means for me that dirt, I'm not sure if you can see this dirt right here on these leaves. Can you see that? Can you see the dirt on there? I'll show them over here on Instagram in just a minute. See the dirt on there? See that? I mean, the good news is, hey Cynthia, the good news is these were really grown somewhere that had good dirt. These are organic, so I'm pleased about that. But for you to go into your kitchen and when you start cutting them and you get this dirt all over your cutting board, I'm not a big fan. And I love leeks, but I don't love how hard it is to make them good. So I prefer the ones at Trader Joe's, but when I don't go to Trader Joe's, hey Tom Gallagher, you're back. And hello. So what I do here is I'm going to show you. So I'm going to back up Instagram over here so they can see, and I'm going to cut these up for all of you in Facebook. So stay with me here for just a minute. Let me turn this. Oh boy. Okay, there we go. Everybody can see now. So what I've done is I've taken the leeks and I've cut them up in quarter-size pieces. Hey there, Linda Richardson, so good to see you. Yay. Into quarter-inch pieces. And so here's what I've done, is if you can see this, and I think you can, we're going to get rid of the dirt that you can see. We cut off the leaves, so we just make a big cut these right off. There is dirt all over that plate. And then what we're going to do is we're going to rinse this under the faucet. So give me a minute now that I've shown you. And I'm peeling back the leaves for just a minute. But I'm going to show you a better trick here in just a second. In the meanwhile, I'm going to throw these leeks into the pot because they are starting, the butter and olive oil is starting to go. So here's what we do. Where the heck did I put that knife? Okay. Oh. Where's my favorite knife? Here it is. Okay. All right. So I'm going to cut off more of these greens because there's just too much dirt in it. There's still dirt there. I'm going to cut back a little bit. And then what I'm doing, can you see this, is I'm cutting it in half like this. And no doubt there is still dirt because I can still see it. So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to go ahead and cut it into pieces just like this. And then I'm going to throw these right into the salad spinner. And you can really see the dirt in this. This was a really dirty leek. Very, very dirty leek. And I'm going to place it in the bottom of the salad spinner like this, and then I'm going to fill this with water. And I'm just going to let it soak for just a minute. So let me do that. I'm filling this with water. And I'm going to let them soak, get all that water out, and then I'm going to spin it. And the first thing I do is I spin it with the water still in it, so that the water like captures and keeps sort of spinning the water out. And then, hey Tony Kern, how are you? And then I am going to spin it without the water in it, and that'll get rid of everything. So let me wipe the dirt off this cutting board, because there's a ton of dirt still on here, which is one of the reasons, and I could have rinsed it before you guys came, but I just really wanted to give you a lesson on just so truly how dirty. And in fact, I cannot get the dirt off of this, so I'm going to have to grab this cutting board, this other cutting board. Let me see where I'm going to go here. Yeah. So see, that's the problem. Take the lesson from me. Thank goodness when you're cooking in your own kitchen, you don't have, you know, you can clean it up and not have to put it on your cutting board. So, okay, here's another cutting board. So we're going to take these parsnips. Now, this is the thing about parsnips, is that they are really only available, at least in this area of the country, in the winter time. So I make chicken soup all week long, all year long. I go to get parsnips in the summer when I'm making chicken soup, and they're never available. So now that they're available, I always wonder, what else do you use parsnips for aside from making chicken soup, which is all I've ever used them for. And believe it or not, there are some fabulous recipes out there. And this recipe I found in the New York Times, and lately I have been loving the New York Times app. So I love it so much, I recommend it to everybody. Hey, Cynthia Berman is on Facebook, and she's on Instagram. That's pretty sneaky. Okay, that's good. So I'm cutting these in quarters, just gonna chop them up, rough chop, throw them into this pot with the parsnips, or with the leeks. So I've had contractors here all day, and it looks like tomorrow, I'm so excited. Tomorrow, they may be hooking up my barbecue and my griddle. Sadly, they just found out that they needed a plug for the griddle, and they didn't put a plug in, so they have to put a plug back there. So that might take a little longer, but at least my barbecue will be working. And if it's working tomorrow, I am running to Whole Foods and buying steaks. I don't know what I'm making, but I am grilling. It might be the simplest grill dish possible, but I am so excited. This has been an 11-month project, if you can imagine, and I'm worn out from it, really. I barely made the show today because they were here all day from early this morning, doing everything that they're supposed to be doing and really at it, but it takes a long time. Any project, if you think you're going to do hey, Nancy, nice to see you. Oh, you make mashed potatoes with the parsnips. I bet that's fabulous. Yep. You can't stand the dirt either. I see that. Okay. All right, so we're still going to be chopping these up, just giving them a rough chop. They're going to saute in there. So I saved a parsnip to show you. These are peeled. Now that's the other thing. When I put them in my soup, I do not peel them. And just for those of you who don't know, parsnips really do look just like white carrots, but they have a depth of flavor that you really can't imagine. Hey, Artie Vasari, so nice to see you. Happy New Year. Oh my gosh. Artie, I haven't seen you in so long because the world's been shut down here in Vegas. Used to see Artie all the time at all these different places. You see me look away frequently over here on Instagram because Facebook is right over here on my different device, and I have been talking to them. Yesterday, Instagram kicked me off 3 days in a row. I could not get the live portion to connect. So I'm always loyal over here to my friends in Facebook. So, but I love having you guys in Instagram join me, so I'm really pleased. Okay, so parsnips into the pot. Let me get myself a wooden spoon. I'll be right back. So here we go. Okay. So I started these out in a combination. Those of you who follow me all the time know, hey Heather, how are you? That I love butter. I believe in butter. I spread love like butter. butter is my bag, baby. And so in order to saute anything and soften it, I always start with 2 tablespoons of butter and 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I love the butter because the butter actually gives you a nice browning look to whatever it is you're starting to saute and soften down, and I love that. And when you combine both butter with olive oil, it is wonderful. Now, those of you who are watching your weight, you have to make a choice. It's either carbs or fat. You can't have both. And I do not do well. This family does not do well with carbs. We get a lot of inflammation from carbs. Our stomachs hurt. I think there's a lot of gluten issues in this family over a period of time. And so we look to do things that where we can substitute the carbs. But when it comes to fat, baby, we're all about the fat. So I always say, look, you know, you can have anything you want. You just can't have it all at once. And carbs we reserve for special celebrations. So I believe there's a time to feast and there's a time to fast. And so when it's a time to feast, we'll go ahead and put carbs onto our menu because there's a lot of celebratory foods that we love in this household and with our family that do have carbs. But when it comes right down to it, on a daily basis, it's more of a time to fast, right? And by fasting, I don't really mean fasting. I just mean being careful what you eat, not overeating, not eating a lot, eating in more limited moderations. You know, when I was growing up and in America, there was not fast food on every corner of America. And so therefore, people did not eat like they do today. And as a result of that, we have changed our dietary habits more than anything. And by that I mean the level and amount of foods that we are consuming. So back in the day, boy, I hate it when people say that, but I'm just saying throughout my lifetime, hey Jane Coughing, so good to see you. So happy you joined us. We're making creamy leek and parsnip soup. I have 2 devices going here. I've got Facebook over here, Instagram over here. But when we were growing up, the food habits of America was that you ate your big meal on Sunday or maybe Friday night or Saturday night. That was your big meal. And then the rest of the week you ate very simply. Maybe you just had small soups for dinner, or you just had very limited, just something, a bowl of cereal for breakfast, a very small amount of food at your other meals throughout the week, and then your big meal was 1 day a week. And if you had sugar, it was 1 day a week. And so I think a return to the way that nature provides food for us is really one of the most important things that we can do. So tonight, I am making creamy leek and parsnip soup. I said that I found this on the New York Times recipe list that I attuned to, or that I subscribe to. And what it has in it, I'm going to read you the ingredients, is this is cooking down and softening. So we have to, can you ask me questions or something? Because this is not cooking as fast as I'd like it to, so we may be here for a while. So just, give me some questions. How about a question over here? Hey Jane, how are you doing? How's your garden? I got the shape of my victory garden from Jane Coughing. She's a marvelous designer, and I saw the shape of her garden, her home garden, and it's a paisley shape. And the minute I saw it, I fell in love with it, and said to my own designer, I have to have this shape. I have to have this garden, and so I hired actually her contractor to help me do it, and we're both sorry about that. So true, right? Sometimes things work out good, sometimes they don't. So anyway, mine looks very much like her design, and I'm so pleased about that, so happy. So, okay, so this is the ingredients that we have. Is we have 4 large leeks, 6 medium parsnips, 2 teaspoons of kosher salt. Let me go grab that. And black pepper. So let's get in that salt and pepper. I love to salt and pepper things as they're cooking. especially as they're cooking down. Number one, the salt actually helps to sweat it. So there you go. I love it. I love that word when I'm cooking, is sweat the onions or sweat the garlic. I love that. There's a little bit of pepper. So that helps to break it down just a little bit, helps to soften it. I love the salt and pepper during this stage of it all. You can see that during this stage of it all, because it literally helps to flavor the juices as it's cooking down. I'll push this out just a little bit so that Instagram can see it. There we go. That looks really good. And so after that, what we're going to do is we're going to add a bay leaf. We're going to add a teaspoon of turmeric. Yep. And 4 garlic cloves, but this is actually not quite ready. So let's see. I cleaned out most of the old plants today. Took 5 hours. I'm not done. I know. I've been doing it, Cynthia, a little bit at a time. So are you going to join us for Seed Starting Sunday, Cynthia? Cynthia is the Accidental Farmer. You can find her on Instagram. You probably can find her on Facebook too, obviously, because she is on Facebook right now. But she goes under the name Cynthia Berman, but she's known as the Accidental Farmer. And let me tell you, her and her husband bought a big plot of land in Fallbrook, California. And they just, coming from Beverly Hills and coming from the Santa Monica, northern Beverly Hills area, they just wanted to be able to have more land. My cousin works on his cars all the time, and he could not do that in the small areas that they give you in Los Angeles, California, in that area. So they bought this land, and they were told that they had some avocado trees. They never actually walked down the land. And even if maybe they would have, they maybe might not have noticed that they had a huge avocado farm, actually, land. They had no idea. And it ends up that they have had to hire a farm manager for that, because they produce over a couple of tons of avocados a year, which is amazing to fathom. And lucky for them, because avocados use a lot of water, and lucky for them, they had a well on the farm. And so, hey, Sun Valley gal, joined, so good. Yeah, there we go. But so lucky for them, they had a well on that land, so watering all those avocado trees, they have hundreds of them, like 120 of them, they had no idea, is not a problem for them. It just comes right out of the earth. So I just saw that Jim Markovitz joined. And Jimmy, I really have to tell you the story. So Jimmy is my second cousin. Yes, and I'm just going to talk about Jimmy in a minute, but my other cousin over here who joined, who's the accidental farmer, said that she harvests 4.5 tons of avocados every year. So I find that to be absolutely unbelievable, especially for somebody who had no idea that she wanted to be in farming. And so she is building a barn-dominium so that she can rent it out at Airbnb. So all of you, look it up, because if you ever want to go to Southern California and stay in the most beautifully decorated barn, if you look her up, Cynthia Berman, you can rent it on Airbnb and maybe have a retreat there if you have a small business, when we can all get back to retreating, right? Okay, so now, Jimmy Markovitz, I have to say hello. Jimmy is my second cousin, born in Chicago, as my grandmother's family was, and then moved to New York. And Jimmy, I don't know if Liz told you, I hope you're still there, because I really want, give me a thumbs up, Jimmy, if you're still there and watching, because I want to tell this story, but only if you're still there. So tell me if you're still there. I hope you are. There's a minute delay, so let me see if he's still, I hope he's still there, because I said hello, and I wanted to tell this story to him. I don't see him. Don't see him, so I'll wait just a minute. Okay, so here is bay leaves. I'm going to put in 1 great bay leaf. There we go. Maybe a half one. 1 1/2. Okay, there we go. And we're going to put in a teaspoon of turmeric. Here we go. There we go. This is ground turmeric. Now turmeric, okay, thumbs up. Jim couldn't find the thumbs up. Okay, so here's the story, Jimmy, just as I put this in. So there's turmeric, there's bay leaf, and now I'm putting in about 5 minced cloves of garlic. Now sometimes these recipes call for smashed garlic, and I am not into smashed garlic. Smashed garlic. And here's the reason why. When you just put in 1 big clove of smashed garlic, yes, I agree, like the oils and the juices, hey Patty Kennedy, or Patty Keneally, everything else is great. But the thing is when you're dishing it out, somebody inevitably gets 1 big horrible clove of garlic in their meal. So in their tomato sauce or in their soup, I'm just not going for it. So I always believe in mincing garlic, unless you're going to take the garlic out. So 1 big smashed clove of garlic is okay, but not if you are going to leave it in. I believe in mincing it. Okay, so back to Jimmy. But first, Jimmy, sorry, I have to keep a cooking show going. It's not all about you and me today. I got to keep this. So I'll be right back to that story. So this is my favorite broth that I use. It's bone broth, which makes it richer. It's kettle and fire. It's organic. It's the best. And so this recipe now calls for putting in 6 cups, and I'm going to put in 8 because I put in a lot of parsnips and a lot of leeks, and they were bigger than what the recipe called for. And also I am told that parsnips and leeks can make things very, very thick, and I don't want a thick soup. I want really a light and creamy soup. So, okay, back to Jimmy as I open this up. So here's the deal. I had a box. I've been cleaning out all of these cupboards in my house because we've been under remodeling, right? And I found a box of things that my grandmother had saved for many, many years. Most of them were newspaper clippings of my husband and me because we spent many years on television. She had all these clippings that we didn't even know she had. I mean, I looked through the box after she passed away, but I don't think I looked very deeply because it was too painful. But nonetheless, I was going through this box because I was transitioning things in that box into other boxes so that cupboard could look much neater than it did. And I found a thank you note that Jimmy, who is my cousin, and his father was my grandmother's nephew. And so he had written a thank you note to my grandmother and my grandfather, thanking them for his bar mitzvah gift and thanking them for traveling all over the country, which was Las Vegas to Chicago, to come to his bar mitzvah. And I looked at that and thought to myself, I'm saving this and I'm going to send it to Jimmy. So Jimmy, if you don't know, I called, hold on. Oh boy. I did something. I got to turn this off and start it again. Okay, hold on, Jimmy. Poor Jimmy. You're getting like the short end of the stick here. I've got a story, but the story's going to take 30 minutes to tell. Hey, Arlene, how are you? So, needless to say, I called Liz on Saturday, and I have your home address, and I am going to take that little thank you note, and I am going to send it to you so that you can see it and keep it. I thought it was beautiful to find, and it meant a lot to find it in that moment because it was just a week after your father's memorial, which was beautiful, and you did a beautiful job. So anyway, on and on and on and on we go. So there you go. All right, so Arlene, you just joined us over here, so let me tell you what I'm making today. I am making a creamy leek and parsnip soup. And I always wonder what else you can use parsnips for other than actually putting them into your chicken soup for depth of flavor. And I found this great recipe on the New York Times cooking app. And believe it or not, the recipe is titled, hey Glory, good to have you. We've been having some fun on Gather with Nanny Bubby Facebook group, right? Posting things, everybody's posting things, and I love that. I love that there's a place and a community for everybody to recipe share or talk about their mishaps in the kitchen, and there's a lot of funny humor going on in there, and that just makes my heart sing. So thank you so much for joining. But here's the deal. What I really wonder is, how is it possible that this is called creamy leek soup? Can you see that? Creamy leek and parsnip soup, but there's no cream in it. And the answer is that when you go into this with an immersion blender, that it just, and this chicken stock or the bone broth, what it does is it just does give it a creamy texture, and it's amazing. You would think that there is cream in it, and there's just not. So we're gonna let this come to a simmer. And I would just ask, I mean, does anybody have any questions, or does anybody have anything that they want to say? If you just joined us, and many of you just did, let me just tell you that we are doing Seed Starting Sunday, this coming Sunday. And you know what, share this video, or I should take a picture so it's easier maybe to share. So that you can invite people that you know that might wanting to, oh, you made baked parsnip fries. Well, wow, that sounds almost even better than the Ikema fries. Were they, Glory? Were they better? Tell me, just waiting to see. So we are planting green zucchini over here, and we are planting yellow zucchini, or yellow squash. And we're planting arugula. Now, there's a reason I chose the arugula, and there was purpose behind all three of these. So the seeds in squash are the size of pumpkin seeds. They're really easy to get your finger around. They're really easy to get them into the soil. Lettuce seeds, on the other hand, are so tiny. They look like little tiny needles in the packet, and you can lose track of them. Hey, Lindsay, so you've been asking about seed starting. We are seed starting on Sunday, Seed Starting Sunday. You can find all of these items except the seeds on my nannybubby.com Facebook page, not Facebook page, nannybubby.com web page in the Game Changers tab, and it's the first item. The greenhouse is on Home Depot, the soil's on Amazon, the grow light is on Amazon, but the seeds, you've got to go into Home Depot and buy yourself. Here's the reason why. I once ordered seeds from Amazon and they were not fresh, and none of them sprouted, and I thought, I'm never going to make that mistake again. And honestly, go into Home Depot and look at the seeds and look at how many seeds you can get. They truly will inspire you. So why did I choose the arugula? That's a good question if the seeds are really hard to work with. I did because when arugula starts to sprout, and when you tear off that first leaf of the arugula, you will be shocked at how peppery. You have never tasted arugula like it tastes when it really comes right out of the ground. By the time it makes it to the marketplace, it loses so much of its rich and great flavor. Hey, Mary McConville, so good to see you. I miss you. All right, so that's what we're doing. Seed Starting Sunday, and we want to get green zucchini, yellow squash. Those seeds sprout in 3 days, so you're going to feel instant results. If you're planting with kids, your kids are going to get so excited to see the plants come up. And we're going to do arugula. It's harder to plant, but when they sprout and when you taste that arugula, you're going to go, this is what hooked me on planting my own garden, is when I tasted what arugula really tastes like. I'm like, I have to grow my own garden. I have to do that for my own health, for my family's health, and for all of you. And I want to tell you something else. So my husband and son came to me because, you know, we built this office down at the house, and here we are at the house. And so every day they come down and mess up my kitchen by making their own lunches. So don't tell them I said that. Anyway, they said to me, they go, oh my God, we're out of lettuce. What are we going to do? Because, you know, I do have to supplement that garden every now and then with lettuce from the grocery store. And I said, no problem. I'll just go outside and I'll clip some kale for you. And so I brought in this kale, which is amazing that I did that. And then I've got red leaf lettuce that I was actually saving to show you. And but the red leaf lettuce actually is gone for all that I clipped today. Now there's more out there, and I'll go out there again tomorrow and bring some else in. But so tomorrow I'm making this. How many of you know what this is? This is a stalk of Brussels sprouts. Isn't that amazing? Now, I've never roasted a stalk of Brussels sprouts. I've seen this at Whole Foods. I think it's amazing. But tomorrow I am going to be roasting this, and we're going to do this. Yep, that's what we're gonna do tomorrow. So I hope you join me. So this is coming to a nice boil and simmer. I'll let you see this. See there? This is parsnip and leek soup with turmeric. It's a great recipe, bay leaf and garlic in here. I'm gonna let this parsnip really soften and do good. And then I'm gonna take an immersion blender to it once it cools down so it doesn't melt my immersion blender. And I'm gonna cream it up and I'm gonna serve this for dinner. So I think it's a great day and a great recipe. I'll take pictures tonight and show you how it turned out. I took pictures last night too, but then I forgot to post them. So I don't know, maybe, you know, I get so involved truly with my family. I really do. And I want to stay in the moment with my family. I think that dinner and having dinner together is truly the best time of day for me, and I love sharing the experience. And so I get really into the moment with that, just like I'm into the moment here with you on Facebook and on Instagram. I forget, you know, that it's time to clean up. And last night I was so tired I was in bed by 7 o'clock. So I forgot to post the pictures. For that I apologize, but I'm feeling better tonight. And I will post pictures of this. So that's it for me today. I love you. It's so good to see you. Thank you all so much for joining me. And again, on the count of 3, let's all say this remarkable thing. Ready? On the count of 3. Everybody together. 1, 2, 3. Go out and spread love like butter. See you tomorrow.